Hello, this is Vance, and this is Wednesday, January the 18th, 2017. These are the CL trades for today using the slow hand method for price action. In the overnight session, price got a high of 53.61, and just before the open, well, not very close to it, just after, I guess, or anything else. Here's the open was right here, I guess. Just after the opening price dropped to 52.04, and so we're down about $1.50 roughly, and then price retraced back up and then dropped a little bit further. But really, the overnight move from 53.61 down to, I guess, just before 9 o'clock or before 8 o'clock, it was 52.33. So we had an unwinding of about $1.30 roughly. And price came back up. So the first area is right here, and we'll just take a look at this area. We had kind of like a spiking channel. Price traded down to this area. It got all the way down to 52.36, and then kind of really bounced here. Rotated up. We have the double top here. Price moves down a little bit further, pulls back, and then from here, it's really establishing the top of the range. We've got a bottom of a range right here, so let's call it from, if you talk about from where price actually migrated down to, but I think most touches, like 52.37 to a high of, let's say, really 52.60, so 37 ticks, let's call it. And when price I came back up to here. This is 8:30. It's about 25 to 9. So price pulls out. Here's a second entry short right here. First entry pulls back. Second entry short. Now, to the top of this range. If you use your stop, and if we use the stop at 15 ticks, I think it's a worthwhile trade, especially when prices revisited this area. Like talking about 15 tick stop box. You put it up right here. You get enough room to get to the bottoms. You limit in right from here. See, you get right to the bottom. You get enough room there. So, the not the adage, but what you really want to look at is you want to sell near here, the top of the range. You want to buy near the bottom of the range. When price does migrate down to this area, it's just kind of this pretty strong move down. It gives a little bit of a bounce where this previous, where the support is, and it continues on down. And so this is like 9 o'clock is right here. This is where the open is. Trades down a little bit further, and then we have a turnaround. In other words, price starts to migrate back up. So this is from 9:30 or 9 o'clock, and this is about 9:20. So the first trade that I saw for me was this one right here. And I took this trade. The reason I like this trade more than anything else is that it really is, it's a second entry long. We first pullback fails, second pullback on this. It's a strong bar. Your stop is going to be below previous lows right here. And it really quickly, now, this is a kind of a double top here, but I think it's really too narrow. I'm looking at it back at this area, at maybe at 52.36, or even retesting where the previous high was, the double tops of the previous high at 52.58, and very quickly within this is 9:20, within 10 minutes, your first target's really off. See right here, so you can see that first target's off at 9:30, so 10 minutes. It's just, and it moves up immediately. 9:23 is right here, this bar, so it moves up, and it's, it gets taken out right away. Now, a second target is going to be at a little bit higher up. So if you look at the second target is up this area, and now the thing is that at 30 ticks, it just doesn't quite make it up there. It pulls back, and then right here, if you weren't in a trade, it looked like a place to go either long or to add on to the existing contracts. That's what it really looks like to me. So if we're looking at 52.12 as the entry, and we make it up to 52.42 is right here, like right at this area. And this first pullback fails. I think what I'm looking at here is that you're looking at first entry fails, second entry long right here. So you could go long on this bar. That's a pretty decent setup from this. Now, the problem with it is that you're looking at, maybe we're into this area right here was previous support, and you want to kind of look at this as your target. But as you can see, as soon as you got into this, we started overlapping. And here's a big failure right here. It tested higher and then moved up, and it couldn't get up past here. So this is a second entry short right on this one, and on this one is another rejecting bar. So unfortunately, this price came back here, and if you had set up to go long here and set your stop up under this area, you originally might have been down here. Okay, let me just show this. Let's say that if you limit it in, you're below this area, because that's the best place to be. But if you enter in this area because you consider this maybe a double top, a double bottom here, and this one here, and looking for support, didn't get your first contracts off. You see that? Pulls back here. If you're looking at it moves you up 10 ticks, then this is a place to really kind of pull up, because you can see right across these tops, price wasn't ready to get over that area. Now, next area. Back here, I like this trade, and the reason I like this trade is because I talked about this one. Pullback. This is kind of like a second entry short, like a second entry long. Price makes a new high, pulls back first, pullback, second pullback. So it's like a hidden second entry long. Now, the reason I like this trade, it's a strong bar coming under this bottom. Your stop is below here. Now you're below these areas right here. It's not quite down to here, but I think this is kind of support because you've had double bottom on this side, and there's enough room to get out to the top. And it does, but it just fails immediately. Pulls back to this area, another area to get in right here. Again, this is a second entry, another second entry, but this one is clearer. First entry, pull back, second entry, and again, I talked about this particular trade at 19. This was the one that I kind of got taken out right on this bar right here, or this bar came back and took me out. And because it was a time stop, had I left that one, if you want to review the video, be my guest, you can take a look at that video and see what I was talking about as far as, why I took this trade, etc., and what happened as far as the scratch trade was concerned. Now, let's go on a little bit further. I wasn't in this trade, but I wanted to kind of take attention to this. I mean, individuals like when you have a strong move up like this, and then you have this pullback, this is a second entry on a shorter time frame. So you can see price pulled back the first time, failed, pulled back the second time, immediate failure. So if you look on a shorter time frame, like a 400 tick, you'll see that there's two moves back down to this area. You'll see that, especially on this area. So it'll look like two obvious moves on a shorter time frame. Now, why would I even consider going long in this area? Well, first of all, if this is a measured move, this is the first move up. Number two, look at for any reason to go long, especially after this strong move. And anytime that you have a second entry or pullback at an area like this, even a hesitation, the likelihood of going for at least getting your 15 ticks is pretty high, even though your stop isn't down below this area right here. Now, the other reason is that if you look at it, this is the area to the left of the chart. This is the area where price actually started to sell down. If those sellers, they have the safety stops. If you're short here, this is probably where your stop is. Price is traded all the way down here, and as soon as when price revisits this area, will you give it up? If you give it up, and if buyers are overwhelming the few sellers there, that's what causes this hesitation. It'll go higher, and that's exactly what happened. So you can see this measured move, this move up to here, pulls back and moves. And is it really any coincidence that the magnitude of this move up is almost the same as the magnitude of this move down? It's almost identical. I mean, you're just a few ticks out. 52.11 to this area right here, 52.05. 6 ticks difference from here to this bottom right here. And this magnitude from this one, if you were to measure, it's almost exactly the same. So if you're looking at on a wider time frame, if prices moved down to this area, we move down here, move back up, what's the likelihood of actually recapturing some of this to the left-hand side because of the strong move down from the overnight? I think it's a pretty good reasoning from that perspective. So it was not a bad place to get in, but again, it's green, it's more advanced idea, whereas it's not as clear-cut or as simple. But boy, that's a strong move up there. You figure price is going to get up there. Now, once it makes up to this area, now we have a definite turn back. First pullback fails, and then you have a second entry short here. So you can see that price double tops right at $52.99. No coincidence there either, right at the $53 number. And so when price sets up like this, is probably a place to go short, at least because look where the turnaround is going to be. If you go short here, here's your bottom of your here's your bottom, but you'd have to limit in. That's why I've got a market in green. So you have enough room to get out there. It moves down. This is, and then we see two moves down to this area. Once price gets to this is a real reversal. It really looks like a reversal pattern to me. If you're looking at so this is not enough weakness. So you don't want to buy. You can't buy here because you like to buy weakness, but this isn't weak enough. And so you can see that price is trying to get up here. Is there strength here? Depending where you enter, I think you can short here, but man, you want to have your stop above, as far as your risk management is concerned. So it's pretty tough you have to limit in and you have to sell limit somewhere here. And unfortunately, it's really not, you've got to be close. So this is a dicey one. I did mark it. You can see that this is a second entry short right here. First price moves up first time, fails, tries to move up a second time, fails. So second entry short right here. You can say that this is the first entry. This is a failed second entry long right here. There's other ways to do it, but the problem is that if you're going to wait for the second entry short, you have to enter right here. And where's your bottom? You got enough room to get to this area, where this previous support / resistance was. So there's enough room for that, but that's a tough one. I wasn't in this trade. I wasn't this. After I missed this one, I was finished for the day after this trade right down here. So I wasn't I didn't participate in this. I had some other things to do anyway, so that's why I was kind of short. And this happened about noon, and I had some place to be. Price comes back up here. You could have taken this one as well. It's again another, prices. Once you have the strong move down, you have a slight of a pullback here, and then it fails again. Depends on where you get your stop. We get your stop in here, and it's above where the previous pullback was. But again, this is a dicey trade. You don't really see anything till you really get down to this bottom, so it kind of spikes and then it works into a channel. Sell this, sell this, sell this. Again, we're looking at a pretty narrow range. And so if there's weakness, and we're really near the bottom of the daily low, like right here. So that's a real difficult trade to take. These are difficult trades to take because, we don't know if it's going to bounce here, if it's going to break through lower. But if you were to limit in and you limit sell near these tops, there's just about enough room to get out. And that's something to consider. When it really turns around here and you have a strong failure, then that might be a place to get in. But I marked all these in fuchsia. That's pretty tough. If you're participating on this big move up here, or you got this big move down here, why do you want to fiddle around with something that you're not really too sure of down in these areas? I'm not saying that you can't, but I'm just saying that it depends on the context of the day. If you have this much of a turn during the day, toward the end of the day, buyers and sellers are pretty much. They pretty much had it. We're talking about in the afternoon. This is 1:40, 1:45. I don't know about you, but after, if you've gone through a morning of this, by the time it moves around to like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you're pretty much, I think I'm pretty much cooked by that time. So that's something to keep in mind. Traders are human too, unless you're talking about the computers. Price moves down. Again, there's a second entry long right here, stacking up, but this is right at 230, and then it moved back up, and so you can see it kind of rotated over. Being near the close in this area, see price did come up, it overshot. It's obviously an overshoot, and now we're back into the this is at 710. That's what I'm doing this. So, there was some pretty decent movement today, particularly in this area. As I said, this trade would have been the trade of the day had I got it on that thing. But again, you don't know that. This one is too, like this Sol, if you were aware of this, if you looked at this one. But, these are pretty big. This is a pretty wide area as far as selling short is concerned. You want to buy weakness and sell strength. So if it's, if this looks strong, you want to sell this. And if this looks weak, you want to buy that. So that's kind of like the idea. I think that's it. I don't think there isn't anything more to be added to this at this point in time. I hope you had a good day. I'm still getting applications in for the mindful trading, and I haven't sent out the packages as of yet. I'm still getting some stragglers in. So if you're interested in the mindful trading program that I'm putting together, please send in a request for information, and I'll give you okay, it's Mindful Trading, Slow Hand Method. That's my email address, slowhandmethod@gmail.com. make sure that you put mindful trading in the subject line. I've got, there's been some interest. There's a lot of people that have sent in requests for information. I'll have those out within the next day or two. I'm just going to get the stragglers in to kind of do it all at once. I'll have let everyone know what's going to entail. The package includes most of the information. If you have any questions, let me know about it, of course. But I'm going to lay out another, just a little blurb to see how that works over the course of the next little while, over the next day, and just kind of get some people in there to generate some more interest. Anyway, it's the first thing through. It's the first program, so we're going to be probably a little bit of growing pains, but I think people really find it interesting. So that's it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know. This is Vance. Bye for now.